Hello everybody and welcome back to Handsum German, the only show on the internet, and today I am presenting to you Pixelot, which is very much an indie game, as you can see from the footage on screen right now, and it's a very cheaply made indie game as well, which is fine. You know, a lot of great games were made cost effectively, if you will. But Pixelot, unfortunately, is one of those cases where it's leaning into the retro vibe and the, oh, this is a little indie game. It's leaning into it a little too hard, which pains me to say because I was actually contacted by the developer on Twitter asking me if I'd like to take a look at their game. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? Like, it's kind of why I started the YouTube channel, to look at games that a lot of other people would just dismiss or overlook entirely. Now, Pixelot, as you can see, is a JRPG in the loosest sense of the word. There's turn-based battles with characters that have usually 2 attacks, 2 magic spells, and a couple of items with them. The magic spells are on a cooldown, and the standard attacks are not, so you can spam those as you wish. There's a bunch of different classes that you can choose from in the beginning of the game. I went with a sage because I figured, okay, high magic damage sounds fun. And you do recruit more characters as the game goes on. As you can see from the footage that I have up on screen, I have also a ranger with me who has 2 attacks, one which allows him to attack one enemy and one which allows him to attack all enemies. And that's about as complex as that character gets. The biggest problem with this game, outside of the fact that the first quest I got was kill 4 slimes, which is always a bad sign. It is always a bad sign when collect 4 bear butts is the first quest, if you've already run out of ideas before it even started. All characters pretty much only have, all NPCs only have like 1 line of dialogue as they're standing around, which is very retro, which is definitely what this game is going for. But other games with a retro aesthetic usually fix that problem. I know writing quality is an almost entirely subjective thing. Whether you like it or not is entirely down to the person. But as you just saw, this bandit just said, "You will never reach the boss," and then attacked me. And that was it. And at that point, might as well not have said anything. So that's fine that some of the NPCs only have a single line of dialogue, especially enemies that you just dispose of really quickly. But that makes me wonder why they even talk to you at all. Like, it's not like it adds anything to the game to me, at least not the way they're written here, because everybody just says the most obvious thing that's on their mind right now, like, "I am going to defeat you now," or "You will not defeat me," and things like that. And that's just lame. It doesn't it's not funny, it's not charming, it isn't anything really, and that's kind of a problem, to be perfectly honest. And the same thing goes for non-hostile NPCs. Everyone is written very basically. There is no flair, there's no style. If characters have made jokes, I have not noticed that they were joking, I guess. There were 2 bandits that made Pokemon references, you know, talking about being in the top percentage of bandits, which is great, I guess. And then another one said that their cloak is comfy and easy to wear. And yeah, by the time the second person made a Pokemon reference in a row, I kind of checked out and gave up on the writing for this game entirely. Now, you can also see on screen occasionally that there's an equipment system, as there would be in any JRPG style game. It's very basic, there isn't really anything to it. You can upgrade weapons and armor, but that just has the classic problem of you're gonna find something better in like 2 minutes, so why waste your resources on that? You waste your resources on that because you were curious how the system worked and figured you had to try it out. Now, the writing isn't amazing. The graphic style is kinda cute, I guess. It's not bad. It does give me vaguely Dragon Quest 1 vibes, vaguely. At least outside of combat. In combat, everything is a little dull. There aren't any flashy animations or fun sound effects to accompany the action. So that, again, is a bit of a bummer. There's also this really annoying thing in battles where you have to first figure out like which arbitrary combination of buttons allows you to select which move that your character can do. There's a limit break system that the game doesn't explain, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. There's this really, really obnoxious thing where dead enemies will still show up as ghosts on the battlefield, which I assume is there so that enemies can revive them, or maybe later you gain the ability to eat souls or whatever. But the problem is that your character will still target those by default, if they're in the front row, for example. Now, luckily, when this happens, the game simply doesn't do anything instead of wasting your turn, but you still have to use the right stick to select the correct target, even when there's only one enemy left and there's just 3 ghosts that you keep cycling through, and that's just kind of annoying. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about battles. They're slap fights, they're over very quickly, which thank goodness, because they don't require much, if any, strategy. The music seems to be assembled from a bunch of royalty-free asset packs, which is fine. Like, I think that's fine. Not every game has the budget to put together their own soundtrack, which, you know, totally okay. I just don't think that the individual songs match very well with one another, which kind of unfortunate. That's pretty much all there is to say about the game, aside from the one big problem that it has that a lot of games suffer from when they try to modernize the random encounter systems in JRPGs. And that's the fact that you heal to full after every battle. Now, there's good games that have done that. South Park Stick of Truth also heals you to full after every battle, or gradually but very quickly heals you back to full after every battle. The problem with that is that the random encounters serve a purpose in the design of a JRPG, where they are supposed to be a test for you to kill the enemies as efficiently as possible, using as few resources and taking as little damage as possible, so that you have those resources for the boss fight at the end of the dungeon. That's what the point of random encounters is. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that if you heal back to full after every battle needs to be its own challenge. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, why not just give me 50 experience and let me walk straight to the boss? Why would I have to waste that much time on the same 3 enemies over and over again if I just defeat them by mashing A bunch? I don't know. I don't think it's very well considered at all. Now, obviously there's the problem then where your character has a healing spell that's on a cooldown and does not cost any MP or mana or whatever, which basically means that your healing spell is infinite. You just have to wait out enemies. So kill all of them but one and then faff about by buffing yourself while your healer restores everyone back to full health. So the entire game would have to be redesigned from the ground up to either make non-boss battles challenging or have a way in which battles deal lasting damage to your characters so that you actually have a reason to strategize. And in this game, even if a character dies in battle, they're healed back to full at the end of it, and they still gain experience. So just mashing A seems to be the way to go for as far as I've played the game, which was a little over an hour. So ultimately, unfortunately, I cannot recommend this game. Unfortunately, not at all. I think there are plenty of better JRPGs that you can also get on the cheap very easily if you're slightly more unscrupulous than the average person. There's plenty of Dragon Quest games you could play for free right now. There's plenty of Final Fantasies you could play for free right now, and unfortunately this game is competing with them and doesn't do it as well as they are. Kind of a bummer. If I wanted to leave this with some constructive criticism here, I definitely think that the numbers going up is very satisfying, especially considering how quickly the numbers go up in this game. You level up very frequently, and I like that. I do really like that, and the level ups are significant. So I'm thinking, look at games like Loop Hero or some kind of tower defense game, something that is all about increasing stats and maybe hero placement, and try to work in that direction going forward. Because you've definitely nailed the addictive nature of numbers going up. The only reason I even played for as long as I did was because I wanted to see how high the numbers can get within an hour. And they got reasonably high. I definitely felt like my characters were stronger by the end of it, though not by much. So yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Pixelot was originally a mobile game. It was probably a fine mobile game. It's not Armello or anything, but it was probably okay. So yeah, maybe if you want to make another RPG, look at something more auto-battlery, because this isn't very strategic, so you might as well step away from the strategy altogether, at least in terms of the actual combat system. Yeah, good luck with your future projects, and when you make another game, I'll be happy to look at it again. Now, if you found this video enjoyable, informative, or good to fall asleep to, make sure you subscribe, leave a little like on the video. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, which took me long enough, but hey, better late than pregnant. I watched a video about the Golden Girls recently. I've never seen the show. Have a good night, and be nice to the first stranger you talk to tomorrow, okay? Just be polite to them, and see if that makes their day. I'm sure it will. Okay, that's all. Goodbye.